Woman don't suffer, lower everybody. Suffer, suffer for enjoy forever. Money no like woman, woman no like woman. She no be like water. He don't get enemy. If woman ever marry you, then she no be woman. Woman ever marry you. If woman ever marry you.
I want to die of laughter. Hi everybody, how are you doing? Today is another day. I'm bringing you another lady. I want you guys to learn a lot from my best friend here in Kenya, who I love so much. She's going to talk about homeschooling because that's what she does. If you have little children that need to go to school, she's the right person to see if you're thinking about homeschooling, okay? So, okay, Susan, welcome to African Queen Mo channel. Say hello.
Hello.
Stop being shy now.
Hi everyone.
Actually, now she's pretending to be shy. Anyway, her son and my son are very close friends, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're really close friends. And so we've decided, even us guys, we're going to be very close.
Yes.
Because of that. Yeah? So Chichi and Junior, hi. Okay, so guys, now she's set up over here in her beautiful compound. You can see she's all set up. And we're going to talk about her experience and what it is that she teaches children. Okay?
All right. Thank you for this chance. I appreciate. So, my homeschooling is my career at 60 plus years. I have had different areas of specialization. My first job was bilingual secretary at the UN for 6 years. English and French, and some Spanish as well, which I had learned in high school. The French and English, I could actually type. Spanish, just speaking. I can communicate. After that, I did some banking at Citibank. I became a banker. I did that for 6 years. Then that time I was a mother of 3 children, and when I had my 2 sons, subsequent to that, I became a home manager, stay-at-home mom. And I did some farming right here in our home here because we have some space. I used to grow vegetables. And actually, I had a shop at Karen Shopping Center near where we live, selling vegetables and fruits. I did that for a period of 3 years as I picked and dropped my children every day. That was the agreement with my husband while he managed his company, his business. The shop, after a while, was not doing very well because the owner of the building decided to convert it into like a car yard. And therefore, myself and 3 other tenants had to quit. And thereafter, I figured I could use the grounds at my home to do wedding events, and photo shoots. And I did that for a 3-year period. That was 2006 to 2010. And as the neighborhood grew, the residential area where we live, then the association, the neighbors agreed that no businesses should take place within the neighborhood because it is a residential area. And myself and a few other people who had started off business such as office spaces and my wedding events, one person had an idea of starting a school. All those operations were stopped. And therefore, from 2010, I stopped that business. And it was doing very well because we had done our grounds well, and we liked it and people liked it. 2 years, I was quite stuck. I hadn't figured out what I want to do with my time. I was still managing the home. My children, my 2 young sons were still in prep school, and I still did the picking and dropping and attending school meetings and stuff like that. And therefore, I figured, what do I like to do and what can keep me going in my early 60s? And actually in 2014, I enrolled for 1-year training for early childhood development at a school in Lavington, Key Montessori School. It's run by a Korean couple who have lived in Kenya for like 30 years. Then in their retirement, they started the training, and they have a kindergarten school. And therefore, the lady trains Montessori teachers. It's a method started by Maria Montessori. It's just a hands-on, exploratory method of teaching young children between the ages of, we say 0 to 6, but basically like 1.5 to 6 years old before they join the preparatory school. So it took me January to December of 2014. I did the training, and it's a diploma course. And after 6 months of theory and practice, 3 months, one undergoes an internship within the same school. It's part of the assessment at the end of the 1-year training. And therefore, I did the exam and got the diploma in early childhood development. Some people can continue to do a degree in the same area, but for me, because of my advancing age and my home commitments, I decided to stay at the level of training young children. And I've been doing that since 2014. I have taught in different schools in Nairobi. One is a Montessori school near Karen. Another one is Surina, near Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi. And the last one before COVID hit was Sina, C-I-N-A, Sina School along Langata Road. And when COVID hit, some parents went to the option of having homeschooling because now children could no longer go to school. And therefore, this family that I had met in that school engaged me to train their child, who was he was 5 years then, their son. And therefore, I did that between 2020 and 2021 for 2 years. And this young man had a bit of dyslexia, but we could understand one another. And he also had a special needs teacher, and therefore we worked together with this teacher. And the young man now has joined a mainstream school. Now he's 8, and the family liked what I was doing. And a little sister was born in 2021 in October. So the mom promised that I'll teach her young daughter when she's 2 years and above. And actually, that's what I've been doing since 2023 September to date. She's 2.5 now. She's getting to talk, but we have a good relationship. And the materials that I'm going to present here, I've invested in them because, in homeschooling, one has to have the materials. We call them materials, the activities, because the child just has to have all those 5 areas of curriculum. That means the practical life, manipulating objects, sensorial, feeling with the hands, and distinguishing the feelings of softness, rough, cold, stuff like that. Then we have a library. I invested in storybooks, which we read for language and vocabulary. And I have invested in other objects. For example, I have some animals. We learn about animals, wild animals, generally, and domestic animals. I have a scribbling pad. I have some photos of parts of the body. For self-identity, I have a nose. For example, I have 2 eyes. I have 2 ears. And we have some olfactory materials. That means sense of smell. I have some jars which contain cotton wool, where I have put food essence. There is a vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. The child can distinguish that. We have learned cutting. There are some scissors for the child-friendly. For sensorial materials, I've invested in this slime. It's a kind of a jelly. We put it in a bowl, and the child just feels it and just plays with it just to feel the softness. We learn objects. This is a carrot and a potato. There are some other things. Some have been beaten, such as banana. The child is still young and curious. We do art. And we have done 2 colors so far, blue and red. And as the child is manipulating the sponge, she's learning that this is a rectangle. So there is vocabulary and language. Sometimes we make bubbles. It's also part of art. Put a little bit of water in this plastic bowl. Use a straw to blow to make bubbles. The child is learning about bubbles. That's language. all these areas, the child is learning language, vocabulary. Part of the art we stick, we walk around and pick leaves, we stick them on manila paper. We use double-sided tape. This is how work. Sometimes when we are doing it outside, we use glue. We use glue to stick the leaves. And by the way, all these activities, the child does them by herself. I demonstrate once and I tell her, okay, you do it. So she knows how to squeeze glue onto a paper, the manila paper, and stick. Normally we pick some leaves, she sticks. I have glitters, just to make it interesting. Glitters, we sprinkle them on paper. Just the child can see the shine and just learn that there can be shine. Oh, actually, I have the art book here. Oh, you can see it better. You can see the leaves, the dry leaves. And color red, the color blue. The child just uses a brush for that. And at times we use a balloon to color. Once you blow a balloon, not so big, put some little water, the child can just use it to make. That's another way to paint, a different way. Because, young kids get bored easily. And part of the art is, this is a child's foot. So I tell her to remove her sock and her shoe. And I paint her foot. And this is the imprint. This is my student's foot. So she likes it, and sometimes she wants to paint mine too. That's okay. That's part of, kids are so sweet, so that's part of it. So coloring using crayons or coloring pencil. So that is coloring. She's here to learn about cutting. These are child-friendly scissors. Everything here is child-friendly. You basically show a child how to hold it and not to hold it, not to cut anything. The ground rule is do not cut anything apart from paper. So the child learns how to open and close. Open, and for the time being, we just cut paper. Manila paper. And the colors that we use are food colors, which this is blue and red. Next term, we are going to learn about yellow. So the 3 primary colors. Part of the sensorial is we use corn flour. We mix with water and the child just manipulates. And I have some butterflies here, plastic ones. So the child can just stick them and just learn stickiness. You stick this in the bowl. This cauliflower here, for example, she mixes. Put some, like 3 or 4, so that she just feels the softness. Once we mix corn flour and some water, this is corn flour. Mix it with the water, just enough for her little hands. Then we stick put the butterflies like 3, put them there. So they just mix, The idea is the child is just manipulating and feeling and just learning the fine motor skills, the fingers. Just learning how to handle stuff. And she can stick them. These butterflies sometimes for a different lesson to learn about cold and ice, I put water in this bowl, say half. Put the butterflies in, put it in my freezer for the following day lesson. The morning when I remove them, they are frozen. And the child learns that this is ice, this is cold. Can you feel it? And they are stuck. So that's a different lesson. All this is to help the child gain confidence, get vocabulary, learn, and understand the world around her. This is cotton wool, and the child learns that we look at the sky when we are outside. The clouds look like this. They look like cotton wool. I have some beads. I've removed the blue and red from among this because what we are learning is red and blue, and it has to be consistent. So the child gets that there's red and blue. So we have done threading. Threading means she puts, say, 6 beads in the manila. I cut 2 foot. Oh no, 1 foot. 1 ruler. So the child, fixes the beads, and then we make a necklace. And what is the lesson? There is hand-eye coordination, concentration. The child is silent, and the child is using the fine motor skills, the finger, and the child is preparing for writing. This is called pincer grip. So all these things are training the child to eventual handling the pen, the coloring, or the threading. All these things are leading to eventual handling of the pen. By the way, during all these lessons, they are sing-along songs. You know, head, shoulder, knees, and toe. We sing all those things. Before you say I have 5 fingers, they are songs. They are sing-along songs for everything here. Usually, parts of the body. I have 2 eyes, 1 nose. There. Mommy finger, mommy finger. So the child looks and sings so that all this is teaching body parts. How many hands do I have? 2 hands. All this, training the child, learning parts of the body. And this is my scribbling pad. The child scribbles, and then we use this to rub. This is the pad. We write and we rub. Oh, sorry. We rub. Here we have our library. There are different books. I have invested in them. In a classroom setting, there are usually some books because storytelling and reading is part of the children listen and they just look at pictures. It also leads them towards understanding their world. You know, the alphabet, we sing all those A, B, C, D. That is rote singing. But they look at pictures. A for apple. For the time being, they're just naming, learning, and recognizing. She knows an apple. You know, A, B, up to some of these objects are familiar to the child. You can see this one has really been manipulated until it's torn. So that's okay. Yes, so it's A to Z. That's for alphabet. These storybooks, I just read for her. We discuss what are the actions, colors. Do you have a bed? Yes, I do have a bed. What color is it? The child may not know everything, but they can say bed. A teddy, okay. You know, the teacher reads. I normally read, and just, the child just listens. That's one book. I have several of them. This is another one. All these I have bought. They are for my use for this child and subsequent children. More pictures and fewer words because the teacher reads. I read the story, and where are we? We're in the park. Oh, okay. Can you see trees? Yes. Grass? Yes. So more pictures. What are they doing? They are playing. Butterfly. We have butterfly here. See? Can you see? Yeah. So again, emphasizing vocabulary and color and action. So basically, a typical week looks like this. Monday through Friday, more or less. I didn't, what you see there is what we normally do. Every 15 minutes you can see. Circle time. Circle time means you sit round. You say, good morning, how are you? What day of the week is it today? Some people can say Sunday. Say, we came to school on Monday. We came to school on Tuesday. So today is Wednesday. Okay, good. Days of the week, the day's weather. Is it cold? Is it hot? We sing. All these have sing-along songs. They are sing-along songs. Good morning, good morning. And days of the week. Today is Monday, today is Monday. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yesterday was Sunday. Tomorrow will be Tuesday. Let's have fun. Things like that. Every day. This you do daily because kids need to be reminded. Okay, grace and courtesy means you teach them how to say please. They just don't stand up and go. Or thank you. Or excuse me.
Grace and courtesy.
Grace and courtesy is one of the areas. That means you're telling, if you sit down, obeying instructions, say sorry or excuse me and please. That is grace and courtesy. You do it in the morning, the first 15 minutes. When as they are arriving, they are waking up. Some are still sleepy, So you wake them up by those sing along good morning songs, days of the week, day's weather. And courtesy. Courtesy. Yeah. Say please, excuse me, don't push people. Sit nicely. Am I your friend? Be kind to your friend. Your friend is next sitting to you. Because some children have not learned. Oh, sorry. Some children have not learned. Oh, they're still learning. No, we are all learning until like high school. So, these children have just left home. And therefore, you're training them how to say, sorry, excuse me, sit down, please. You teach this one week, you teach one thing.
One whole week you're teaching.
Oh, yeah.
Please and
Yes, yes. Yeah, because some are standing or they're pushing or they're hiding or they're standing or they're running around. So, yeah, you say the same thing. That's why Monday to Friday, same thing. If you go to 10:15 to 10:30 library, children are still waking up, story time. Talk about the pictures, the colors, the actions. This is story time. Okay. And they are learning language and vocabulary. Okay. And literacy, that's what we say. Then 10:30 to 10:45, there's activity of the day. It could be coloring or scribbling. Scribbling means they use that pen to scribble on that pad. They are still doing the pincer grip, the forefinger and the thumb, the first finger. So it's called scribbling, which is fine. So 10:45 to 11, you have seen this every 15 minutes. There's numeracy, number songs. 1, 2, back of my shoe. Or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. Up to number 10. Then subtraction. When they're running subtraction, they don't realize, but you're counting. 10 little ducks went swimming one day. You count backwards. You're teaching through song. So for the time being, it's just number songs up to 10, and there are several. And therefore, then you sing all those songs, and this is a daily thing. 11 to 11:30 is break. We have our break that time. Some snack. You run out. They refresh. They go out. They run around. They climb. They crawl. They can jump on tires. Stuff like that. They can play on the sandpit. That is break. We come to 11:30 to 12. There's activity of the day. There can be painting. That can differ. Another day can be sticking. I've showed you the sticking leaves on their art book. Painting, you can use brush one day. Another day you can use a balloon. Another day you can use a sponge. Another day you can use a fork, a plastic fork, just to make lines. You dip it in paint in a plastic bowl. You just make lines and make squares. At the same time, you're training them the shape, the squares. The sponge is rectangular. So they're learning all the time. Between 12 and 12:30, sensory activities. That means manipulating the jelly, for example, the water games. Water games means the water balloons, which I soak overnight. So they manipulate them. They feel how smooth they are. And then they can just crush them and just enjoy. And they are different colors. They can be red, blue. They are mixture. One buys them in a pack. They slime and clay, which looks like jelly. They just manipulate it, pat it, make it into anything. Shape it. And as they do this, we sing songs. Pat a cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and mark it and back it with a B. Put it in the oven for baby and me. Every activity has some songs to it. So just to make it interesting. And then for PE, running around the compound, the nature walk. That means running around the ground. Chasing butterflies, maybe. Noticing other insects. There could be ants. And every time there are songs about the ants walking 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 and 2. The little one stopped to beat his drum. They all came tumbling down. There are songs to most of these activities, just to make it interesting. And the kids love it. They may not sing it when the teacher is singing, but they will sing it later on. Because when they're in the classroom, there is no TV. Some of these songs they've heard on the TV, but during class time, no TV. So it's our mouths. They are watching your lips. They are learning word articulation, and they are listening to the beginning sound. Let's say the sound means like if you're saying walking, wah. They may not know everything, but that's it. All right, 12:30 to 1 is just tidy up. Tidy up. Let's say 1 o'clock is tidy up. And they say goodbye song. Goodbye. They say tidy up means you tidy up the classroom. We pack our stuff. In a classroom setting, you put them in the shelf. For me, I put them in my bag and just pack them neat. They help. We sweep. It's a small broom. We sweep. And we end the day with a goodbye song. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. I'll see you another time. I'll see you another time. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye. That song is, sometimes the child sings to me in the morning and I'll say, I'm not going anywhere. I can't leave. When she doesn't want to learn, I'm not leaving. I'm told to go off. Say, I'm not going anywhere.
She's not singing you songs.
Goodbye. She can say, they got worried. The manager, I go, no.
We don't want it.
No, goodbye. Get on. No, I'm not going anywhere. Oh no. Oh yeah. I'm here. Maureen, you have to be a kid. You have to be 3 when you're dealing with these kids. You have to be 3.
Wow, didn't we learn a lot, you guys?
you
This has been so much fun. Oh my God.
I love it.
I felt like I was in nursery school again.
Do you want to come to my class?
Yes, please. Can I come and join?
Miss Susan. You have to address me for Miss Susan.
Miss Susan.
Miss Susan. In my class.
Oh my God.
You enjoy all these things.
That's fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Wow, what a unique show, guys. I'm going to be showcasing what our ladies are doing. So we're back here in the yard. It's getting a little bit late. It's about 6 o'clock, isn't it? It's very, very late, yeah. So I wanted Susan to answer a few questions about where did this interest of yours to teach, little children, to be an educator, where did it come from, honestly?
All right. Now that I think about it, my mother was a primary school teacher in the countryside, and we spent most of our time with her. My father would come home weekend, and I guess that must have influenced us to some extent. Now that I'm older, I didn't give it a thought then, but I remember my mother was really passionate about her students. She would really say, this one is doing very well. She would show us when she's grading them, we'd help her. We were like 10 years or maybe teenagers or less before we went to high school. So she would bring this pile of books. That's what teachers did then, and grade the students. And she would say, this one is really bright, and I wouldn't let them, miss school. Because those days, most parents didn't really appreciate education. I'm talking about people my age, like in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, some people would miss out because the parents say, if you can't afford, don't go to school. Just do garden work.
Do you mind sharing your age?
My age, actually, I'm 69 now. I'll be 70 this November.
So, this is a career change. Okay, let me bring this.
Yes.
So, basically, you did a career change at 60 years old.
Yes, actually, I was exactly 60 in 2014 when I trained for this early childhood development.
So, guys, you see how important it is not to limit yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For the past 10 years, Susan has been busy teaching children. And the nice thing with children is that they keep you young.
They do.
They give you memories. Like me, I got memories. I actually started almost wanting to weep because I'm like, I want to color. I want to paint. That was so cute,
I love it. And actually, I love it because, as you say, I just forget about my age. You should see the kid chasing me. We run around the compound and we sing all these songs, and I'm amazed because I used to sing it for my children when they were younger. Some of these songs are still in my memory, and some now they're usually on the kids TV, the channel, what do you call it, the baby channels.
Yeah, the baby channel. Yeah,
so all those, but you see, they are also in books, and they're in my head because I sang it for my kids. And therefore, I really love it. I guess as you age, do what you love because you'll do it. I can do this for no money, to be honest. And I love it, getting out of my home for 3 hours, breaks the monotony, and I have something to do, and I have some little money in my pocket.
And how many days a week?
All right, it's a good question. It's Monday to Friday. That's what this family has chosen. And I do it for 3 hours, 10 to 1. Because you see, by 9 o'clock, they're still having breakfast and all that. The child is still on diaper. She's 2.5 for the time being. And most kids are not toilet trained. And they wake up by the time you wind them down, you drive to school. So 10, because it's homeschool, 10 to 1 is okay. But most schools, they say 9 to 12. So it's like 1,000 shillings an hour. That's the rate. The parents in this home gauged it against what we were earning in the school where I was. But, some schools pay higher, but one can go lower or higher depending. But for the time being, that's what I'm earning, 1,000 shillings an hour.
Okay. So how many hours a week do you do then? 3 times 15.
Yeah, 15 hours. Oh, actually, I've never thought about it.
do you count your travel time?
Not really, because this family happens to be like within my neighborhood. But it doesn't matter because I know some other teachers who do homeschooling, and you to keep that into account, and therefore they may put their fee a bit higher because you have travel costs, you have invested in the materials, all those stuff I've showed you, because you can't teach without this, because I carry them with me every day. I don't leave them with the child because sometimes they won't use it, or I don't know where to put them. We don't have a special room. We just learn just in their sitting room for the time being. So I carry my classroom with me.
So, are you able to teach more children? Are you looking for more kids to teach, and what ages?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I guess I can do 3 or 4 at the same time, and they have to be they can be together. That would be easier. But I also know some teachers who move from home to home. In that case, they do 1 hour, and that means you can't cover many things. It's okay. These kids are not rushing in anything. You can do like 2, 3 lessons within an hour, 15 minutes. You can do different things. So some parents choose 1 hour, and therefore you move from home to home. But for me, if I can centralize and do 3 hours, that would be good. Yeah, because sometimes the distances can also be really far away. Yeah, sometimes parents can just decide to use one home. If that is not possible, then one can do it individually.
So, what is your school year? Is it all year round?
Yeah, it's a school calendar. For example, it's September to September for the children who follow this IGC system, the British system in this country, in Kenya.
All right, guys. Now, yes, it's so dark. We've talked so much until it's gotten dark. So, we want to say thank you so much for watching African Queen Mo channel. Welcome new subscribers to my show. Very welcome. I'm going to be bringing you so much variety topics, interesting topics for you to learn things. Right now, we're talking about how you can reinvent yourself and rediscover talents that were hidden before. Whatever profession that you were doing or that you have been doing all your life doesn't have to continue. You can actually stop and change, like what I'm doing now. You see, I'm doing videos. Yeah. I'm really enjoying my YouTube journey. So thank you so much for sticking with us. We are women over 50 and we're trying to invent ourselves. And this lady here is a great inspiration to me as well. Yeah. So wish you the best, and thank you so much, Susan, for coming on my show. It has been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
I now know what you've been doing and why you're so passionate about your children. Next time you see your little baby, say hi to her.
I will.
And tell her not to say goodbye. Tell her to say hello.
At the beginning of the class.
At the beginning of the class. So if you guys have kids, by the way, and you're at 0 to 6 and you're interested in homeschooling, here is Susan. She can come in for 3 hours and give you a break, help your children to develop intellectually. So come on board. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Toodoo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.